have in front of me an Eclipse push button code lock. So we're marking this as a low volume lock, but in reality I'm using a lock identical to this in our own office setup here, and it works extremely well. It's great because you can use it inside and out, so it's suitable for external use. That's where cheap locks will really let you down. Work initially, water gets in, boom, no work. So that's why we went with this particular brand. So the purpose of this video, by the way, the product is available with small parcel low cost delivery. So the purpose of this particular video is twofold. First of all, I want to give you an overview of what you get and the uses you'd use it for, and then the second one is I'm going to give you an overview of how to install it. Now, I haven't installed one of these myself, but I did get our local locksmith who installed all of our digital locks around our premises here to come and give a quick overview of it, and I think I understand the process. Okay, so this is the outer box and it comes in here. This here is going to be our door, and this here is just an instruction manual, and this is more useful than most user manuals because apart from the fact that it's reasonably good, it also has a template we're going to be using when we're setting this up. Okay, so what we're going to do at this particular point in time is we're just going to look at exactly what we have. So this is what we're going to put on the outside, and the reason this goes on the outside is you want a code when you're trying to get in, not when you're trying to get out, okay? So that's for sure, that makes that part fairly simple. There's a little, you can see this particular one here where we can actually come along and we have the rubber seal that's go on here. It's going to give us our IP rating on it. So it'll just sit directly into it here, and what stops us putting it in upside down is this is obviously where the codes are, and this is where our little bolt is going directly through. Okay, so this is what will be mounted on the outside. Now when we come along, we're trying to figure out how to mount it, where to position it on the door. So this is our door here. So we're saying to ourselves, do we mount it here or further over, something like that. What we'll actually do is we just grab this template that's here, and we're going to say to ourselves, you know, we're going to use this, and there's two possible positions you can have, here and there, but it's the inner one you're going to use. And how you verify that is, what you'll do is you'll grab this here. This is obviously what we want to be the locking mechanism here, and you'll just see here that we want this to match up exactly with this center hole here. Okay, so that center hole there is just going to match up directly with that. So that's how it would match on the thing. So we actually, so we need to match this on one side, this on the other, and we're going to be drilling 8mm holes between this point and this. So we can see again that there's two sides to this template, from the front and the back, and that's just going to show you where this hole will go there, right? And the 13mm hole goes in the center here again, and that's for this bar that's going to be going directly through. That's a little washer or a little spring on it there as well. Now the locking mechanism which we're going to be using, which will be coming in from the front of the door here, what's going to be happening here is we're going to be again using the template, the marker. We're going to have that, and we're going to drill a 25mm hole. The actual barrel of this is about 22mm, so it just slots directly through there. Put it through in the far side. Now when we come along here, if I go to this point here, we'll actually see that we have two little barrels here. It'll screw in top and bottom, and depending on the thickness of the door, we can use a long or a short screw directly in there. What you'll probably do is you just hold it up to the door, see if the long or the short screw will do it. And on the inner side here, these screws here obviously go through this first, and this is just what holds the locking mechanism directly in. It just goes straight through and it screws directly in there. So what we'll be doing with this barrel here is we'll be putting the barrel directly in here, and then what we have is we have our locking mechanism here. It'll slide directly through. Now, something that will become self-obvious to you, evident to you as you're going through, is that you might be having the handle working exactly the way you want it to go, or it might not be going the way and you want it to go left or right. And depending on what way that is, see the little screw here? It's marked with a little blue marker. If it's not opening, if it's opening left and you want it to go right, or vice versa, what we can do is you can just unscrew this and put the locking mechanism in here on the far side. So that's pretty straightforward. So we'll just put it through here. You have your locking mechanism gone straight through, if you can imagine it there, and that's basically it. Now the final thing here will be to actually come along where the door is meeting. If you imagine now this is the door frame, we'll just come along here. We'll see where this is lining directly up, and what we'll do here is we will come along and we cut this out and we put it in, and then we cover it up with this here again. Now with 4 screws here, we'll have 2 screws that we're using at this point, and then we have another 2 screws that we're using on the barrel on the front as it goes directly into the door itself. So there are the 4 screws the actual door locking mechanism itself has been held in position with those bolts there. So I have a little assistance from my pal here today, more than I wanted in my video. But what do you call it? So that's it anyway. Now the high volume one that I'm going to show you in a while is exactly the same thing in the general principle. It's just larger, more chunky, and bigger handles, all the rest of it. So if you're going in and out and all the rest of it, I suppose from ergonomic design, you want to spend a bit more. You want something that's going to be a bit more robust and things like that. But this one itself, as I said, I've used this for years and years, found them absolutely great, and zero problems with it. Oh, by the way, resetting of these things is incredibly simple. There's a code that comes with it that'll tell you how to use it here. But if you want to reset the thing, you just come along here and you'll see that the outer part, if the outer part is red, it means it's part of the code. The outer part, or if the inner part is red, it means it's not being mechanized. And to change that, just simply push in your flathead screwdriver, rotate it, and then have the red part facing inwards to be deactivated, and facing outwards to be reactivated. If you come along and make a balls of code, you just hit the C button. It says C is part of the default code, but C really means just it clears everything that's there and lets you enter the code there again. So changing of the code afterwards is quite simple. So if you had somebody, would say, who was a tenant, something like that, and they've left, and you just want to change the code, just take it off again, just come in here, and resetting the codes on the smaller units much easier than the large ones. So I like this. It's a premium brand in the market, price point on it's good, and it's low cost shipping.